Hey, welcome. It's Simon from Chameleon Mode, and we're looking at browser fingerprinting and exactly how sites like Pixelscan and Iphey monitor your browser's fingerprint with things like WebGL and Canvas fingerprinting using, different hashes across the different sites. So we're going to dig a little bit into that and show the difference between Chrome browser fingerprinting and Brave browser fingerprinting, and then how the browser fingerprinting within Chameleon Mode differs from the system setup or the fingerprinting setup that you have in your system browser. And I just want to say that these sites, they do a great job of showing one thing, in my opinion, and I'll show you why it's not just opinion. It's going to be a fact in just a moment. They show a good thing of. They show one thing, which is this sort of hash here. They give a hash, a WebGL hash, a Canvas hash, a unique hash, and all these different sites, Iphey, for example. Let's go to Iphey. And we'll click on hardware, and as you can see, WebGL, Canvas, Client Rex compared to Pixelscan's version of Canvas and WebGL are totally different, right? So they've all got their own ways of, working out where you are. So according to Pixelscan, now this is not a Chameleon version. This is my normal Brave that I have installed on my computer that I use, and it's telling me that I'm out of date, which I'm not. And it's likely, obviously, not using an IP or a proxy, and it's telling me that it's very likely that I'm masking my fingerprint. Now let's jump over to Chrome. Now this is Chrome installed, my regular Chrome on my computer. Let's see, here, based here in Israel. And it's just telling me that it's very likely that I'm masking my fingerprint. Now, this is just regular Chrome out of the box, and I know Chrome does not do any kind of fingerprint masking. But for some reason, Pixelscan has been coming up lately that Chrome is masking, but they're not. I think in some other instances they come up that they're not. I haven't seen it yet, but every time I've checked it on my home one, it does come up like this. Also in Chameleon, a lot of the time it comes up like this as well, but also a lot of the time it doesn't. A lot of the time in Chameleon it'll come up with a green thumb, consistent across, and I'll show you right now. Let's look at so as you can see, this is here in Israel. Let's have a look at the Canvas hash. So it's giving us this 908 and WebGL hash this, and let's jump over to one managed by Chameleon, and according to Pixelscan, it's really liking this version of Chrome, which is managed by Chameleon, as you can see. This one is telling me that I'm in Detroit, Michigan, which I'm not, and my IP looks good, and that I'm not masking anything, and that I'm using Chrome. But it's also telling me that it's outdated, which it's not. So it's weird inconsistencies that these sites have. And let's just have another quick look at the Canvas and the WebGL, and let's take a look at the Canvas and the WebGL and you can see they're unique. So any instance that you would open up of Chrome via Chameleon would be completely unique on its own IP proxy. It would be consistent, or it might not be consistent, because these sites really are not consistent, and not to base anything really on these. And the only thing you should be basing on these sites is taking a look at the WebGL, the Canvas. Just look at the digits, the hash. Are they hashed to the same exact digits? So let's take a look at Iphey over here, which is my normal Chrome installed. As you can see, I don't use Chrome. I'm not even logged into my Gmail in this Chrome. And if we look at the hardware on Iphey, and we'll come and we'll look at the hardware on Chrome, you could see they're all totally unique, and every Chrome instance that you would open up will have this exact same, consistent profile. Now, it's worth noting, in terms of consistency, that we are the only anti-detect browser to allow that and to make that happen. And you do that by using the extension that's available for you in each one of your browser instances. So what this means over here is that you have the ability to hold the WebGL, Canvas, fonts, Client Rex audio fingerprint, or you have the ability to disable. Not disable, you have the ability to randomize it. So you can click on that and that will just randomize the WebGL over here. And the same thing goes for each one of these fingerprints. So you can mix and match and play and come up with the perfect font with the perfect resistance level that's going to come up perfect if that's really important to you, but it really isn't. Or you could just disable all of this and have the same consistent fingerprint but not being spoofed. So there are times where you might want to do that. There are times where you might want to have it randomized on each load, and there are times in most cases where you just want it to be 100% consistent across all of your browser profiles each time you open up your profile. Just like in a normal browser, you're going to have the same WebGL, Canvas, Audio, Client Rex. It's not consistently changing and spoofing, and every time you access it, it's different. So this allows you to be a 100% consistent every single time you log into your profile, so that it's got the same fingerprint time and time again. Each time you access that fingerprint, it gains more and more authority and it becomes more recognized as that Canvas fingerprint, as opposed to a completely unique fingerprint every single time you launch or possibly refresh your page, as some other browsers do. Brave themselves, they do a good job, because what they do is they mask WebGL, Canvas, but not Client Rex and not audio. So we've taken it to, a few steps further. We've added many layers on top of what Brave already does very, very well. And we've added our own secret sauce to it to allow it to be even more unique across every instance that you open up. So that not only is it going to be unique in this terms, but it's also going to be unique in this terms where it's all synced up to the right time zone and the right geolocation. And while we're on geolocation, it's worth mentioning that we're using the latest UL 3 standards, so that you get the blue dot whenever. It knows exactly where you are the whole time. You could also edit that and change that on the fly very easily, but that's in other videos. And as you can see, if you go to where am I here in my regular Chrome, it's just without me hyper focusing in and telling it exactly where I am, because of the way that sometimes the proxies and the DNS systems work. If it's not using these standards, it's not going to know exactly where you are, as you can see over here. So so that also adds to the consistency of the time zone and the latitude, longitude that everything is given, because there are latitudes and longitudes that come with each proxy. I'm going to have to edit that out because that was my local proxy. But in any event, these here, as you can see, each proxy is got its latitude and longitude connected to it. Where is it gone? Here, AT&T, residential, and this latitude, longitude, which is in Fort Worth, Texas, zip code, so on and so forth, whatever, all connected, consistent with the IP. So in terms of which browser you should be using, I guess if you're using Chameleon, it doesn't really matter at all which browser you're using. They're all going to keep you safe. If you're not, you better off using a browser like Brave, which is doing a pretty good job, masking some things but not everything. But then again, you can only do that with one browser profile, and they'll be the same consistent fingerprints across all your browser profiles there. So any questions? Love to answer them. Comment below. Otherwise, if you're already a member, see you in the group. Still comment below if you've got any questions. Talk to you soon.